Everyone in that dusty roadside diner froze when the rifle clicked. A young woman, her spoon halfway to her lips, sat still as the cold barrel pressed against her temple. No one dared to move. No one dared to breathe. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The soldiers had just stormed in, boots thudding like thunder against the wooden floor. They looked tired, starved, and desperate. Men who hadn't slept in days. Their uniforms were torn, their eyes hollow. The leader, a broad man with a scar across his cheek, spotted the woman's bowl of rice and soup. Without a word, he pointed his rifle at her head and growled, "Give it to me," but she didn't move. Her name was Lena, a field nurse, who'd spent the last 6 months tending to wounded villagers, caught between two armies. Her hands had stitched more soldiers than she could count. Her back still ached from carrying water for the dying. And now this, a gun at her head, for a bowl of food. The silence felt heavier than the desert air outside. The diners, a handful of old farmers, a mother with her child, watched in frozen horror. The ceiling fan creaked slowly overhead, slicing through the thick, tense quiet. Lena's mind raced. If I give him the food, the others might rush in. If I resist, I might not walk out. But she saw something in his trembling hands. Not arrogance. Hunger. Guilt. Fear. The same look she'd seen in soldiers who cried in her tent after battle. She slowly pushed the bowl toward him. But then, instead of lowering his weapon, the soldier shoved her shoulder roughly. "Stand up," he barked. "You think you're better than us?" Her chair scraped against the floor. The child in the corner began to cry, and that sound, that small frightened sob, did something to her. It broke whatever fear she had left. "Better than you," she said softly. "No, just not empty anymore." He blinked, confused. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a folded photograph. 4 young men in uniform, smiling. "You see this," she whispered. "All of them gone. I fed them, patched their wounds, and still, they never came back. So if you need food that bad, take it. But remember, someone like me will have to clean up what you do next." For a moment, no one spoke. Even the wind outside seemed to pause. The soldier's jaw tightened. He looked down at the bowl, then back at her. Slowly, he lowered his rifle. The others exchanged uneasy glances. One muttered, "Captain," but the man raised a hand. He knelt, picked up the spoon, and ate in silence. When he was done, he set it down carefully, as if the act itself demanded respect. Then, something completely unexpected happened. He reached into his pack and pulled out a tin of rations, old, dented, but full. He placed it gently on her table. "For the next hungry soul," he said. The other soldiers followed his lead, each dropping a small piece of what little they had, a dry biscuit, a tin of beans, a canteen half full. Then, wordlessly, they walked out into the setting sun. Lena sat there, her heart pounding. The mother with the child whispered, "You could have died. I've already seen too much death," Lena replied. "Sometimes the only way to survive it is to show mercy to those who've forgotten what it feels like." Outside, the wind carried dust across the road. The soldiers were gone, but the tin of rations sat shining under the dim light, like a quiet reminder that even in war, something human still flickers beneath the armor. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And in that little diner, where fear once filled the air, mercy took its seat instead. If this story moved you, share it with someone who still believes in kindness. And don't forget to subscribe, because here, every story reveals the strength still left in the human heart.